This is the exercise 3 recording for Gabriel Pingator. So to start with, I'm going to pull up my command line and enter DB exercises. Take a quick peek at my directory. I'm going to do make directory x3. Alright, perfect. So now I have my directory, and I'm going to go to Git, and I'm going to download test3.java, view it raw, I'm going to save as. Going to save this as test3.java in x3. And I'm going to go back. And I'm going to get the 8.03 jar, download that. I had already downloaded that before, so I'm just going to copy the original. And I'm going to paste that into my X3 folder. Alright, now that I got that, I'm going to go into X3. I'm going to take a peek at my directory and see we have test3.java, so we're going to go through the code for test3.java. This pulls up. So getting to query, we have our typical Java import information, and then these are the queries that we'll be executing. To start, we'll drop the table student, if that exists, and then we'll create a new table student, and then we are going to insert into student question mark values, which actually corresponds to this prepared statement. We're going to insert these 3 rows, execute that. Then number 4, we're going to insert John Liu, his address, and his status. The 5th is update the student for Xiang Liu to Main Street in Choi. And then the final one is delete Xiang Liu. And then, excuse me. So as we're, the system out print line will select the table and print out its contents. We're going to connect to localhost 3306 with the JavaScript that's been running that we created before with the same user John and password John1234. And then we actually get into the statements to allow to issue the SQL queries. So the create statement gets us kicked off, and we'll execute the SQL statement to drop the table, and the second one to create the table, and this third is a prepared statement that will insert Xiang Liu. That closes with the execute update. And then we will execute the fourth one to insert the record. And we're going to see the results set. It's going to be a select star, so select all from students to see it. And then this will print the line after the statement is updated because we're updating Xiang Lu. It'll go to that SQL 5 line, and we're going to see the results by select star from students to make sure that her address updated. And then after the delete statement runs, print line after the delete statement, and we'll execute SQL 6, which deletes Xiang Lu. And then we're going to show the result. Then the metadata here is generic, takes result set as the argument, but it doesn't really matter where the results are from. And it iterates from 1 to the number of columns in here. The right result set is very table specific. It needs to know the names and the columns and the type. The name of the columns and the type. Alright, so we actually have some code that we need to add in here. And that is this update for Xiang Lu. We're going to update her address. And then we are going to make sure that happens. And then we also need to delete her. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the JavaScript, and we're going to do the update. So one of the first things we're going to need to do is update her address. So this one here, SQL string SQL 5, is update the address to 123 Main Street in Troy. We're actually going to do a prepared statement to update gonna do the prepared statement. So in order to do that, I'm gonna need to pull up test3.java. So we're going to need to update this. And we are going to name that SQL 6. And we will change this a little later. And we'll copy over code. So that needs to change to 7 to keep it working. Change that to 7 so that keeps working. So we did the update student set address where name equals question mark. and that was number 6. So we need to go down to number 6, and we're going to make some room. And our query is SQL6, so we're going to change this. And then we're gonna make that code easy to see. We're gonna see the results step to make sure that that in fact gets updated, and we're gonna write that result set. Alright, now going to 7, string SQL 7, there is a delete from student where name equals Xianglu, and we're actually going to change that. Where name equals question mark. So then we are going to go down to SQL 7. Gonna paste in some of the code. We're going to change that to SQL 7. And we're going to execute the update. You'll see the results there. Then we also need to add in some code from the slides. So we're going to make some room here. I'm going to copy the code that I saved on a clipboard. We're going to insert into student. That will be SQL 8. And then what we'll do is we'll just copy this code over here. We'll call that SQL 8. We'll select star to make sure that everything got done. And we're going to do string SQL 9. And that's going to be inserting into student these IDs here. And we're going to copy that over again. And we're just going to call that SQL 9. And we're going to make sure that everything prints out okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy over some of these results set because we're going to want to do some of our own queries. And do select name from student, where ID equals 1111. Clean that up a little bit. I pasted that into the wrong result set. That's fine. What we'll do is we'll cut that. We'll just paste that down there. And that 1111 should have the value of John. Copy that over. And we will do a select ID name from student. And we'll do that again, only with a where clause. copy that over again. And we're going to again select ID and name from, no, I'm sorry, we're going to select star from student, where status equals senior. And we're going to select count from student, where status is equal to senior. Alright, and then we need to also create another couple of strings. We're going to update student. We're going to set status where ID is equal to 1111. We're going to do strings equal 11. And we are going to delete from student where ID equals 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we got Bill as a senior. So we added 9, 10, and 11. I'm sorry. We added 10 and 11. And we're just going to copy this code. This is going to be 10, and that's going to be 11. Alright, and now that we have all of that set up, we're going to save the file, close that out. Java. And we are going to compile. And we're getting a few errors here. So we're going to look into that real quick. Test3.java. Oh, I see. Looks like we're missing a semicolon there. And that looks like the error that we had. So let's try running that again. And we're getting the same errors. Alright. Probably helps if I save the file first. Let's try that again. Alright, so let's go back into here and look what we had. Oh, I see. We were missing some quotes here and some quotes here. Now that matches, so let's save that. We had another error. Execute statement. Oh, that's because we're missing a 1 there. So we'll save that again. And let's see. That looks like it doesn't like con, so we'll put the connect. We'll save that again. Try it one more time. Beautiful. So we don't have any errors. And now we should be able to run it. All right, beautiful. So everything ran. So we had Xiao Ling and John Liu. And then we, let's see here. So we'll close out of that. And real quick, we'll do gvim test3.java. And we'll go back through and see what we had going on. So we dropped the table and we inserted her name, inserted John, and then we changed her address, and then we deleted her, only showing John. And we added our other people into the table. Then we added Bill at the end. We had an issue where the column ID was not found. All right, let's see. Column ID was not found. All right, so going through the code. Notice we had that issue. So we'll save that again. And we'll close that out. And we'll compile that one more time. And we'll run that. And we're still running into the error. So I'll poke around in there. Alright, took a little bit of time, but I was able to get through everything and get the SQL queries figured out. So if we go down to the bottom of the page here, you can see that we do a select star where ID is 1111. We also do a select name from student where ID equals 1111. And then we do a select ID name from student select ID name from student where status is senior, select star where status is senior, and count where status is senior. So what we'll do is we'll compile our code, and then we'll run it, and we'll full screen that here, and we'll walk through real quick what's going on. So here we start off by dropping the table and creating the table, and then inserting Xiang Lu via this prepared statement. Then we insert John right here. Then we update Xiang's address from 123 Main Street to 123 New Main Street. Still have John. Then we're going to update her address again to Cass Avenue. Then we delete her from the table, so we only have John. Again, I created the new SQL strings to insert all of our students. So we have John Lu, John, Joan, Mary. Then we also do another one to insert Bill at the end here, as a senior. And then here John is a freshman. We do the update statement via the exercise 3 commands that were given. And then we delete from student where ID is 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So after the SQL 11 statement's executed, you can see Joan is no longer there. And then these are the SQL queries. So select name from student where ID is 1111. Obviously we can see here ID is 1111. And select ID and student, ID and name from student where status is equal to senior. There's only one senior, and that's Bill, so we get Bill and his ID. And then we're going to select star from student where status is senior, so we get Bill and his address. And then we do count where status is senior, and obviously there was only one senior, so there we get 1. And that wraps up the end of the assignment. Thank you.